Hey everybody, this is my T-bar cichlid tank, and recently the heater in it started acting up. It's not stuck on, but it was warming my tank up to temperatures I was uncomfortable with, and it was doing it intermittently. So better safe than sorry. I went ahead and unplugged it the other day, and I went shopping for a new tank heater. And I saw a different kind of heater that I've never used before. I've always used the typical glass. In fact, it's still in the tank. You know, regular old aquarium heater. We all use basically the same thing, depending on what brand you choose. I think I've always used either Aquatop or Aqueon. Both are budget brands, and neither have really given me any problem. You know, I have had some failures over the years, but you know, years of use of electronic equipment, especially with heating elements and stuff like that, it's not uncommon for things to go wrong. You know, they might last 20 years, but having the odd unit go up, you know, not dissatisfied with them. But at the same time, why not try something different if there's something better out there? So when I was shopping around on Amazon, as usual, I found this. Let's get the front of it so you can actually see it. So this is, I believe this is the 200 watt. Let me see here. I don't even see the wattage on the front of it. I think this is the 200 watt. So it's obviously got a very different look. The water flows in. It appears to have sort of a horseshoe shaped coil. Glass coil, you know, glass tube with the heating element inside of it. But the big difference is it's got a display that's going to tell me the tank temperature, and it's got an exterior adjustment knob. It's got a remote knob that I can dial the temperature up and down without even having to go in the tank, which is a big bonus compared to the other ones. Let's see if I can get this open with one hand here without knocking anything down off my little ledge. Alright, there it is in the box. There it is out of the box. So now that is officially an unboxing video, and I'll get millions of views for some inexplicable reason now. So there you go, there's the whole entire unit. That's pretty small. And then let's see, there's my little remote. So this is pretty cool. It was only a couple dollars more than the 150 watt equivalent. Now I don't know what wattage I have in here. This may be anywhere from a 2 to a 300 watt. I'm not sure. I've bought all kinds of different heaters over the years for my various tanks, and this one's been in here for a very long time. It's been in here for years. So I don't remember the actual wattage. I'll have a look at it when I pull it out. I'm sure it's written on there somewhere. In the meantime, I am going to go ahead and get this installed. There's not a whole lot of reason for me to set up my tripod to show me putting it in the tank or anything. But while I'm letting it sort of acclimate and do its thing, I'm going to run up to the grocery store, get myself some dinner, and we will come back in an hour or two and have a look-see and find out what's going on in the tank, whether the temperatures come up or down. We'll have a look at what the reading looks like and how the adjustment knob works and so on and so forth. So give me a few minutes and I will see you in a bit. Alright, here we are a couple hours later. The tank is fully up to temperature. I did actually bring the temperature up a couple of degrees from what it was sitting at. It was sitting down about 74 degrees Fahrenheit, or about 22 degrees Celsius. So we brought it up to 25 degrees. This does not change to Fahrenheit, so you're going to have to deal with Celsius if you get one of these. I'm not 100% sure I like the way it looks. I'm still kind of getting used to it. I do like the idea that I can change the settings without reaching into the tank. The only downside in my situation is that all my plugs are down below all of the tanks, and really I should have the controls up above the tank in case there's any leaking or any water runs down the cord. It's going to run right onto the control panel. And it's just a little push button. You push it and the light starts blinking, and then you push it and the temperature goes up, I think, to 35 degrees, and then it cycles back to 14, and then you start going up again. So if you miss the temperature you're looking for, you got to just keep scrolling up and go around again. And that's it. It's a simple one button push. When you get it to the temperature you want, you stop pushing. You wait 10 seconds and then it stops flashing, and then that's your temperature you've got it set at. And then you've got your display of what the tank is actually sitting at. So we're sitting right at 25 degrees right now. That's about 77.5 degrees Fahrenheit, which is about where I like it. Now, when I first put it in there, the number on the indicator there was 28.5 degrees, or 28 degrees, I'm sorry. And I thought that was awfully high. And so I started using my other thermometer, my infrared, my gun thermometer that you can point and shoot. And I was getting all kind of weird numbers. I was getting 73, 72 degrees while the tank was showing much higher. And eventually I figured out two things were going on. One, this had to sort of adjust and calibrate, and eventually it got to where we were sitting at the correct temperature. And the other thing is that the battery was getting very low in my infrared gun. So when I went down to the stream recently and tried to do some outdoor sort of temperatures, I was getting some odd numbers. That could be partially because my battery was getting low. So I tinkered around with a few other thermometers just to make sure I was getting an accurate temperature. I used my probe here and was surprised to find out that my probe is not accurate. The probe was showing the tank right now at 33.8 degrees. It's obviously not since I got it in my hand. But I just took it out of the tank. It said 33.8 degrees. The tank is at 25, so that didn't make any sense. So I finally went and got an accurate thermometer. Measures in Celsius, and this is showing that the tank is 24.5 degrees when I use my little magnifying glass, because those little graduations are very, very close together. But it's sitting right between 24 and 25 degrees, so I'm going to say that's about accurate now. And honestly, I can stick my finger in there and tell you we're within a few degrees of that. It's right where I want it. It's that nice comfortable temperature. It's not on the cool side. It's not starting to feel a little warm to me. And that's usually right around 76 to 78 degrees. So I'm happy with it. It's just going to be a matter of the way it looks, and then of course, you know, durability and longevity and all that. We'll have to wait and see. I mean, if it, you know, goes south in a month and stops working or goes on the fritz or something, then obviously it's not the same value. But right now, for the price I paid for what I've got, I'm really happy with it. I'll put a link down below if anybody else is interested in checking it out. Again, it was just a few dollars more than the filter, the heater I had in there, which is right here. And this is indeed an Aquatop, and it is a 200 watt heater. So that's basically, you know, your standard heater. You got to turn the dial on the top there to get it to adjust. And of course, after a month in the tank, you can't read the numbers, and of course, whatever the number says does not correlate to the actual temperature of the tank on these things anyway. You just got to kind of dial it into where your tank is right and go by that. So if your thermometer says it's set at 78 degrees, but your tank is measuring, you know, 81, and that's where you want it, you know, go by what a real, you know, temperature gauge says, and not by what it says on the top of those little thermometers. I was kind of hoping to alleviate that problem with this. If it's got, you know, a gauge on it, if it's got a readout on it telling me the temperature, it should be accurate. You know, if I set it to 25 degrees, then it should go to 25 degrees. You know, these things don't have thermostats in the same way as a piece of electronic equipment like that. These kind are basically just dialed in, and again, they do a job of getting close to what it says it's going to be, but just because you've got it setting at 76 or 77 degrees doesn't mean the tank water is going to necessarily be right there at 76 or 77 degrees. So just keep that in mind with these kinds of aquarium heaters. So there you go. There's your last look at it for this video. Obviously, we'll see more of it in the future as we shoot more videos of my T-bar tank here. Make sure you're subscribed. That way you won't miss any of them. Hope you enjoyed this one, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one.